All right, ladies and gentlemen, these men are very, very sought after. I don't think you guys have done an interview together in years. How long has it been since you guys did an interview together?
All four, probably 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, first and foremost, you guys need to bring your mics a bit closer so that Pendaneni.
What told the covering?
Hey,
too much.
It's covering. No. We're going to have to move it. All right, so first and foremost, if you've never had just a band, all of them as a collective together, we're going to start with a quick round of introductions. Let's start from this side.
My name is Jim Chuchu.
Jim Chuchu. Very, very hard to find, eh? Anakuanga behind the scenes kabisa. This man.
Yes, what's happening? My name is Mbithi Masia.
Mbithi, alafu tuko na
Blinky.
Mr. Blinky.
I am Daniel.
And I am Daniel. Now, first and foremost, you guys, like I said, very, very hard to find. And you guys have been doing this for a hot minute, right? And like we were just saying off air, right? Of course, you guys have made music that has transcended years upon years of, music being made, right? But what is the one thing that brought you guys all together?
Being fans, we all met in uni. We started this in uni.
Yes.
And the thing that we bonded over was the fact that we were really big fans of music. And we enjoyed it to the point where we just wanted to make it. You get to that tipping point. So Jim and Bill had already been jamming for quite a while. Since they met in high school, and they were writing music and all this. And then when I met them, they were doing these jam sessions where I was like, yo, man, these guys are like, they're not just tickling the keys, they're tickling my innards, you guys. Like, they're making me feel things. How are you guys doing this? I remember those first sessions. I was like, Jim, what's a chord?
So why I want to get to that is because there's one of my bestest friends in life. She's called Wayaki, right? First day we ever met in uni. You know how you go to, you guys are all doing orientation, and then you spot someone who's listening to music. And I was just feeling a bit awkward. I was like, why am I here? What am I here to do? So I spot this lady listening to music, and I was like, cool, let me go ask her what she's listening to. And she was listening to Mos Def. And I was like, yo, we became friends instantly.
Wow. Yeah.
Because of that. So these guys were jamming and writing music together. At what point did you guys go like, you know what, we kind of like the same music, or they introduced me to a particular genre of music?
Honestly, that was Dan's idea. I think Bill and I were jamming because we were suffering in university. But it was Dan who listened to those songs and said, like, you guys, like, what if we made a band? And I think that's why the name of the band became just a band also, because it was very informal the way we started.
Interesting. Busy, how did you come into this at this point?
So these guys now, I think, because I'm a bit younger than them.
Yes.
So they had actually finished uni, and I knew Bill for quite a while. We used to play together in church and stuff like that. And then Bill was like, yo, yeah, I'm making some music with some homies. Come to the things I show you. And I don't know why I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting what he showed me, which was exactly the music that I thought I was the only one who liked.
Yes.
At that point in my life, I was the only one who liked particular artists and particular genres, and these guys were making the exact stuff that I loved. And then kind of my mind was blown, I remember, because it was a very early draft of Owino that Bill showed me. I remember in his mom's living room.
We're actually about to get into that.
And so like at that moment I was just like, okay, Bill, so first of all, I'm not like letting this go at all.
Yes.
And so I just became a hanger-on on the crew, started helping produce the videos and stuff like that. And then as we kept going, realizing also the that musical foundation they're talking about that they all shared, I also shared.
Yes.
Like, there was a lot of common roots where we knew the same obscure house artists, and you thought you're the only one, but it's like, how?
Yeah.
And this is like internet for, you download a song for a day. So it's not like we're sharing Spotify playlists. It's like, how the heck did you discover that?
I love that you've just said that, because it's taken me to the title of the first album, Scratch to Reveal. Boss, that scratch card mambo was definitely quite interesting. Now, I was going to ask you guys, who was actually the first person, right? for me, there's different projects that I'm involved in, right? Whenever I do something, I'll send it to like one of my friends and be like, oh, what do you think? Critique it, right? Who was the first person that you guys as a collective played a song for and said, give me feedback?
Yvonne?
What? I could be... Okay, my memory is really bad, but I feel like it's Mbithi.
Ah.
It's likely Mbithi.
It's likely Mbithi.
Yeah.
Because like what he's talking about.
Yeah. So he's now come in,
But we were just listening to a bunch of stuff. I was just like, when we were collecting the first album, I remember there was a bunch of friends from KU, a friend called Yvonne, but for whatever reason, I feel like Mbithi was one of the first. This was before he joined the band.
Yes.
It was just like, we used to bounce a lot of things.
Was he a good critic?
I guess there's a thing where like when you get into music, your friends have to make a decision about whether they like your music.
Yeah.
And like I think we've always been quite loose about letting our friends not have to be our fans. So
interesting.
I mean, like every artist has to have that transition where your friends stop coming for your gigs because like now you have your own audience and they don't have to be the ones in the front row anymore. You know? Yeah. But Mbithi was always different because like he would give us critique that was much more substantive and useful to us as a band, and also he was the guy who had a car. So
that was
They were using you.
no. I used that. That's how I'm in. Yeah, that 504 did its thing.
If you see the 504 in Ha-hae, that was Mbithi car.
I was like, Uko,
You bought your way into
logistics.
it.
Yeah, and we were driving to gigs with PCs in the boot and everything. So the car did its thing.
What is your first gig?
Yo,
Hey,
Electropulco.
Electropulco at Acapulco, which isn't there anymore. It was somewhere, yeah, but now it's completely.
In OST.
Yeah, as in we can't even tell where it is because that whole block has been turned into high rises.
Yeah.
Coming here is
Yeah.
a trick, bruh.
Yeah, they've changed up everything. Man.
Yeah.
Like, hey, coming to a BC place is different. But as we, now I like that we're talking about the genesis and all of that. As we transition into this song, I want to first get into it. The first check you guys ever made, right? Were you guys excited? Were you guys shocked? Or were you guys like, is this what it's going to be?
you know, these questions are so interesting because I feel like the industry has changed so much, and the thing that I realized that when we were putting out our first music, there was no audience and there was no scrutiny and there was no social media.
Yeah.
So you didn't have this sense that you're publishing a thing. It was just, we made a song, let's put it out. And in those days, radio was much more like the thing that tells you whether you're an artist or not.
Of course.
And that took a while for us to get.
Yeah, a long one.
Yeah. And I remember like the first time I took anything to TV, I was told, this won't make it.
Yeah.
It won't cut it.
Yeah.
This was the animated video. And we took it to, I was so frustrated. And then I was talking to a friend and they told me, I know someone who works at Channel O. It's just like, we can get it to Channel O. And then we sent it. And I think a month later, after being told it would never play on TV over here,
yes,
it was playing on Channel O, but it was written Nigeria, just a band Nigeria. And for me, like, that's what like really freed us. Where it's just like, there's a whole world out there. We don't have to be liked by someone whose understanding of Nini is what they know. And also just over the years when we've gotten to play in so many different parts around the world, it's just like, there's a world that's bigger than Kenya, unfortunately or fortunately. And so it's like, it's cool for we can be able to make stuff from Nairobi and be as authentic as we possibly could. But it's like, right now there's a bigger world than.
I like that. You know, the Bible says, now that we're in a Christian nation. Yeah.
Pombe muache.
Not that we're in a Christian nation. There's a verse in the Bible that says, the prophet is not welcome in, what does it say?
A prophet is never honored in his own home.
Home, something like that.
That's Jesus.
Whew, I pray that we're forgiven for that. But you get the gist, right? Yeah, so, of course, when I look at the music that you guys have done, even to titling your album Nairobi, Berlin, Nairobi, right?
Yeah.
So when you just look at that, it means that you guys are transition from just making music for over here to now globally.
Yeah, though I don't know if it was even like intentional.
Yeah.
It's more like, I think whatever it is that you do, and I'm sorry I'm hogging the mic, whatever it is you do, there's someone else from elsewhere who could be interested in it. And you can see that with TikToks. Like nowadays, I'm seeing people from India who I would never have known they exist, but it's like, oh, this guy is spitting some truth.
Yeah, pretty good.
So I don't think the intention was that, but when we talk about the attention to detail and care for the craft, I feel like those are global things that people are gonna connect to.
Standard. You're about to say?
Oh, I was going to say that I think even in Kenya, we don't really take account for how much our arts are shaped by foreigners. Like, for instance, Kina Sauti and everyone, like Alliance Francaise, that area where people play. And Goethe Institute, I think our first gig, our first exhibition was because of the Goethe Institute.
Yes.
So that just tells you that there's a kind of incubation that we don't do in Kenya because other people are paying for our baby artists to find one another and to become artists. Like, what is the Goethe Institute for Kenya, where a young singer can go and work?
I like that you mentioned that because now you've mentioned Alliance Francaise. Remember what the British Council did as well,
WAPI.
right?
Yeah.
WAPI, exactly. So that's Alliance. Then you've got Goethe Institute, WAPI.
Yeah.
All of those have actually produced a lot of guys over here.
Yeah.
Very, very valid point. I want to get into this song over here. I struggle to pronounce it. How do you actually say it?
Owino Peng.
Owino?
Peng.
Owino Peng.
Yes. Peng.
Peng.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Let's listen to this. Let it play in the background a bit, right? So for musical geniuses like you guys are, and you can't say, no, we're not. I've already called you guys musical geniuses. What would you change about this song?
That's a good question.
I'm busy backing out of that one.
I don't know, a little bit of structural stuff and maybe the mix.
Yeah, definitely. I think the mixes are the things that I always listen to later on and go like, oh, we could have done better there.
Yeah.
Though
now we can.
Oh yeah, we can do better. At the time, this was the best.
to be fair though, it's like for guys who are making this music in your living room without any level of support, it's just like you make things, and then those things become stepping stones to the next level of things, and that so it's like you can look at it and be like, oh, I could change this or that, but it's like actually making it is what brought you to the next level. So
It's a start.
It's a start. So, and I'm learning to respect the beginnings because you wouldn't like the attention to detail that I now have right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't go through this process.
I agree. Interesting. You guys are like, I wish the show was like 2 hours because it feels like we need. Well, I think what we need, we're going to actually record a podcast. Don't worry about it, because most definitely we need to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Now, for all of the guys who are locked in, of course, you guys made the announcement sometime. Was it in May that you guys were going to make a comeback together? But before we even make the comeback conversation, when you guys told guys we're going to take a musical hiatus, right? You broke a lot of people's feelings, hearts, and all of that different kind of stuff.
We didn't mean to.
I think you guys need to apologize for that before we even transition. Could you guys make an apology to the fans out there? Because it's been 6 years. You guys and Rihanna, same WhatsApp group.
It definitely took longer than we had intended. It was actually just supposed to be a short break for us to explore some different avenues that were opening up, and for us to be able to come back to the band with fresher ideas and newer perspectives. And we didn't anticipate that things were going to go, I guess you could say, as well as they did, in the sense that everybody's paths
Success.
just
I like
went
that. Come
opened
on,
up
claim it,
more and
claim
more.
it. We became successful.
Suffering from success.
And so then, yeah,
God did.
yeah,
Yeah.
But we definitely didn't intend for it to take that long.
So I mean, you guys are multidisciplined, right? You guys are creatives with everybody with a claim of their own, right? Does it get to a point where you guys knock heads because of just how creative you guys are in so many different disciplines? Right? Like, you know, Mbithi will probably be like, yo, I think the video should have gone this way.
No. I
Join the
think-
last one.
That even gives me more reason to say that no, because
Yeah.
I think one thing Jab did is this band was at a place where there were no egos, there was no money, there was nothing, no power to fight about in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so coming back to it, which was one of the things we were like, okay, how does this feel? Was it took us back there. So it doesn't matter what also you've achieved, because also those achievements are in a large part due to Just a Band.
Yes, exactly.
And not in terms of because of the rep Just a Band gave you, but I mean like the creative foundations Just a Band laid have enabled all of us to succeed individually in ways that when you come back to Jab, it feels like going back to not school, but in a cool way, like camp. Thank you.
Camp.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly it. You know, like going back to like camp with your homies and you're like,
Yes.
yo. It doesn't matter what is at home or what is out there.
Yeah.
What's been up? Like what's happening? You know, and I think that's the energy that we have. So even with discussions with music and everything, you know, as much as, you know, Bill and Jim have been exploring music more individually, when it comes back to Jab, thoughts are still open.
Yeah.
The room is still open. Videos, I already stressed making stuff outside. I'm not about to start stressing here and thinking my ideas are the only ones. No, because
Suffering from success. I love it.
But also, I think the other interesting thing is how these worlds for us as creatives are intertwined. Where, I make music full time, but I'm also very interested in other things. So it's like the visual side of things for me is also something that because of being in this band, became really highly formed. So even visually, I might not be the strongest, but I do know a bunch of things, like just as someone who appreciates.
I like that.
Yeah.
This has gotten you guys super fun. Now, 2 questions as we wrap, because I want to get into the brand new song. Which is the most perfect song you guys have created yet?
This one, everybody can have. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, as in everybody can have their own choice.
Okay, go ahead. Most perfect song you guys have created thus far. Where do we start? This side?
Well, that's a hard question for me because, like, I think the reasons that you can be proud of a song are different. Sometimes you're proud technically of what you're able to achieve. Sometimes you're happy about what you're able to say. And those things.
Stop being political.
I'm not being politically correct.
You really are.
For instance, I think I'm very proud of the stuff we did on Sorry for the Delay. Technically, we really pushed ourselves technically. But like, I think the first songs where we ever sang in the first album, I'm proud of those because we had no permission to sing. You know, we are not singers. We don't come from this tradition of music. So that was a brave act.
You guys
for us.
Ian had not given you permission.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, maybe thank you for the thank you for the pain from the last album.
The writing.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, like Mbithi, last one.
I think my favorites, because mine almost come with a shade of fanboyism, is I think Family Ties from Sorry for the Delay. I don't know, there's something raw and there's something it says about like actually that subject matter that I think I really liked and the energy in it. And Do You Mind from Scratch. Mainly because of that thing that Jim is talking about where it's like, what do you mean? Who gave you permission to write such a stupid song? Not stupid, but it's fun. It's like stupid fun, you know, like, and such a goofy, but anyway,
Some
I love
great
that
gems
song.
are made from that kind of feeling. Yeah, for real.
Exactly.
Mr.
Watu
Bill.
is the same energy.
Yako ni gani?
I think on a writing level, I really like Ha-hae because it's punchlines, but also I don't think, and this is not to, I don't know if there's a song like that someone else has written in Kenya. I can't tell you. Where it's like, the lyrics make so much sense. I was just like, what life experience was there to be able to write in this way? And then also on the flip side, Watu, the new song.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, by there, I really don't care, guys. It's just like, it has that feel where it's just like, we move. It's just like, I'm such a fan of writing. It's probably been my biggest thing so far. I love that.
I dig Ukombele, as in because there's something about those
you guys
tracks.
are even shocking each other.
Yeah. No, it's because there's something about these tracks where we don't. It's like coming from an album culture, because we're a little bit older. You would have those tracks which would just be left in the album for treats for you to discover and like develop your own relationship with them. And I feel like that's one of those. So I find that it pops up on my playlist quite often. Like I'll sit with it for a bit. It's a really nice vibe. And we only ever played it live like twice or something like that, but it's just good vibes. And Doot.
Oh yeah, Doot is amazing.
Because like it's got this thing which we've been talking about a lot of, like dynamics, like it just keeps changing, and also because like it was really different. Like I remember talking about it at the time that it was like so, it doesn't make sense with. But we do that a lot though. I don't know, maybe. But then like right now, I'm also with Watu as my current favorite, just because it's like the benchmark of where we are now, and it's like we're dusting off the cobwebs of our process.
Yeah.
And so it has a bunch of stuff that it's got everybody's contribution. Like it just feels different, and it's quite cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, I have stolen so much time from the next show, but we're definitely all going to record a podcast together because I feel like there's so many tales about music that we need to get into. Watu, the brand new song, what's the reception like as we conclude?
It's
Bado.
in Aiva, so it's just like this is its first debut. But I do have I have a good feeling about it. I could be wrong, but also Meishi, so
I think I'll just say that I think it's also just us saying hi and thanks to the fans for waiting for so long, and we know that it's a weird time in the country.
Yeah.
So we've sent out 2 songs that are quite different in their vibes, but we're just hoping that we are giving people something to work with in this new Christian nation.
Yeah, and as you listen to Watu, I just say turn it up, pump it up. And sometimes the best thing we do as Kenyans is laugh at ourselves, and I think that's what this song is.
I like
and mix it in a set. And mix it in a set with like Caliph Records, so, as in just like take it back to the old school.
I like it.
But now
Toa
pesa bro.